it was my passion. I really wanted to. So I would say a little bit of money, because I'm not going to lie, I wasn't making good money. So I'm like, look, I need to do something. And so I think it was a little bit of money, just knowing that starting my career would get me to a certain level, and also my passion. I really wanted to do what I'm doing now. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be on air, and I knew how I wanted to do that. So when I had that goal and I set my mind to it, I was like, you know what? There's no other way besides going back. So a lot of people say, yeah, you take that long break, you're not going to go back. Not true. Once you have that passion, if your passion is strong enough, oh, you're going back.
So if you know me, one thing I will do is network, no matter what job I have, what opportunity. I love talking to people. Today's guest is someone who I came across during my time working at Fox Sports 1340. She was working with the Washington Commanders, then known as the Washington Redskins, media relations team. And we connected via social media, always managed to stay in touch, and have followed each other's journey from afar with a couple comments here and there. And recently at NABJ, we was able to catch up and talk and really exchange and give each other the flowers on how far we've come since 2016. Miss Shennekia Grimshaw is a traffic reporter in DC, where she's not too far from where she grew up at. And she comes on today's episode to discuss how she was able to grow in her career, and even taking a break in college like I did, not allowing that to set her back. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is my conversation with Shennekia Grimshaw. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, I have a good friend of mine who, wow, it's been about 5, 6, 7 years since we met. And that is the one and only Miss Shennekia Grimshaw. Shennekia, how you doing today?
Good. Hi, everyone. I'm good. Just happy to be catching up with you.
Yeah, it all started in DC. You was working for the Washington, we'll say the Commanders. I don't want to offend
we'll call
anybody.
it that now. Yeah.
Yeah. But, they were R words at the time. And, one of the things I have to give you your public flowers is, I always appreciated, in the role that you was in, you always made sure everybody in the media felt comfortable. You made sure everybody had what they needed. And I mean, a lot of times you never know what you're going to get when you working with different teams and team personnel. So, I just wanted to thank you for that, So, and one of the things I want to ask you is we should get the show started first before we get started with your career journey. How you feeling?
Good. You know what? I'm tired because I woke up at 3:00 this morning. I had to go in. I had to get ready, prep for the show. Then after the show, had another meeting, and so I'm just tired.
Oh man, well, we definitely won't take up too much.
No, it's okay. I like to talk, so it's fine. But the things that you have to do, like at work on the back end, that's what stresses me out, and that's what makes me tired. But I don't mind, because you know what? The makeup keeps me looking fresh. You can't really tell what's going on behind the makeup.
So let's get started. When did you know you wanted to be in media?
Okay, so when I was growing up, I was always told I talk too much. I used to get in trouble in class. They'd call my mom all the time. Right. And see, I know you were like the class clown. I wasn't. I just like to talk.
I actually wasn't.
You were?
I was. Oh. No, I was calm. Like you
would be the one cracking jokes.
I was the one laughing, and so shout out to my best friend Hugh. He would get me in trouble because he would be the one cracking the jokes. I'd be laughing, but no, I was chills. I like to talk though.
Yeah, see, you're a people person, and that's what happens, right? So there's a flip side to that. My mom would say, why can't you just shut up? But at the same time, I liked people. I like talking. I like laughing. Just having a good time, and while learning at the same time. So my family used to joke, and they'd say, you know what, Shennekia, you need your own talk show. That's what she's going to do when she grows up. She's going to have her own talk show, blah, blah, blah. And they used to think it's funny, but it now turned into like something that's real, something that
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing now, and growing up, I think I've always liked to help people, meet people, be on the scene of whatever's going on and like fun stuff, not like murder scenes or anything like that. But I realized that going into journalism, that is something that I would have to do. I'd have to serve the public, let them know what's happening in my community while doing fun stuff too, going out and telling people about whatever's happening at the time, whether it's good or bad. That was my responsibility. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to be a journalist, like I'd say high school going into college.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, you went to the University of Maryland.
Mhm.
What made you choose Maryland?
Maryland. Okay, so I'm a Maryland girl. I'm born and raised Silver Spring or Tacoma Park, Maryland, actually.
Hmm.
I'm used to saying Silver Spring because a lot of people don't know really what Tacoma Park is, like especially if you're not from this area. But yeah,
Right.
so Tacoma Park, Maryland, that's right outside of DC, basically on the line of DC. Yeah, I just didn't want to leave and I didn't leave.
Wow. So that's awesome. Can you talk about like your experience there and things, just building connections with people there, and especially
Yeah.
in the communications field?
Yeah, so everything, especially in our industry, as you already know, Brian, everything has to do with your network, who you know, and not trying not to burn those bridges, right? So when I was in
Hmm.
school, I was meeting again, where you have to be a people person. So I was meeting people. I would be in class just working with people, in groups and stuff. It was a good time. Now, I wasn't your average student who graduated from high school and went straight to college. So I went to go work. I started working like I was doing side gigs. Uh I oh my god, if I listed all my side gigs, it'll probably take up your whole show. But so I would do things like, host parties and stuff like that. Uh Work at clubs to like those, not the bottle service girls, but the girls passing out certain samples of alcohol,
Okay.
working with certain vendors. That's what I would do. So doing all of that, I think, helped. And I'm losing my thought here, but it helped me with my overall goal with, being who I wanted to be later on in life. And so, yeah, my network expanded. I had those jobs to get me through school. And once I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to study journalism. I'm going to do communications here at Maryland. I finally finished because, I was in school and working. So it took a little bit of time.
Respect.
But I was like closer to 30 when I actually graduated. So
That's awesome. So you never took a break like in between semesters, or did you go straight through?
I took breaks like in between. So I went to Montgomery College and
Hmm.
then I took a break. And then I was like, you know what? I need to make some money. Let me work. And so I would do a little bit of both. And so I think that's what stretched the time out so long because I was doing so much in just that, span.
I can certainly relate. I graduated, went to Baltimore City Community College, had to take a couple part-time semesters. So it took me 3 years, and it
Hmm.
was supposed to be a 1 year break, ended up being a 3 year break. So
Hmm.
when I went back to school, I didn't graduate from Morgan State till I was 27. So
Okay.
I can
Sound like
definitely
me. Yeah.
yeah, I can definitely understand that.
Yeah.
When you were taking your breaks, what was it? Because did you? Let me ask you this: did you
Mhm.
hear a lot of people say you won't go back? Don't take a break because if you
Yeah.
take a break, you won't go back. Because that was one of the things that I
Yeah.
heard a lot.
Hmm.
What kept you going?
What kept me going? It was my passion. I really wanted to. So I would say a little bit of money because I'm not going to lie, I wasn't making good money. So I'm like, look, I need to do something. And so I think
Mhm.
it was a little bit of money, just knowing that starting my career would get me to a certain level, and
Yeah,
also my passion. I really wanted to do what I'm doing now. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be on air, and I knew how I wanted to do that. So when I had that goal and I set my mind to it, I was like, you know what? There's no other way besides going back. So a lot of people say, yeah, you take that long break, you're not going to go back. Not true. Once you have that passion, if your passion is strong enough, oh, you're going back.
Absolutely. Now, when you look back at how media changed, do you think that helped you by you taking a break, like kind of like coming into business at the right time, or do you sometimes wish you would have came in sooner? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
So things happen for a reason. Like I understand everyone has their path. And
Hmm.
oftentimes people tell me like you cannot judge because I have friends who are or peers, I'd say, a little younger than me. Or maybe even a lot younger than me, who made it further because they started so early. Like they graduated college and bam, they were working in their first market at 22, 23 years old. Well, that wasn't me. My
Hmm.
first market was Hagerstown and I was 27, so I was older, 27, 28 probably. So yeah, I started there and I just interned and then ended up reporting. And so I, you just don't, I wouldn't say I would do it differently. No. But there are times I feel like, man, if I would have started at this age, I would have probably been all the way up here, whether
Yeah.
it's, I don't know, MSNBC, CNN, something. I know my paychecks would be larger for sure.
Hmm.
But I do know things happen for a reason and I'm patient. I'm happy with what I do. I wake up at 3 in the morning, so I gotta like it some some way somehow.
Yeah, we definitely going to talk about that. The early morning shift. But I want to stick. You said Hagerstown,
Hmm.
and working there. What was it like as far as the transition? Because if I'm not mistaken, that's about a couple hours away from where you're originally from.
So it's about an hour and some change, right?
Okay, yeah.
So
So
go ahead.
no, I was going to say, yeah, go ahead. You're going
Oh,
there.
um, the good thing about this is, and I met my news director at NABJ in DC. Weren't you
Hmm.
there too at the Marriott? They had, what was it, 2000? I want to
So
say
2015, 16.
2016.
I
It
was
could be
I
16.
went to the last. I came to the party
Okay, okay.
that Friday night.
Of course, you
Yeah,
wouldn't miss the
because I had
party.
just started at my job at the time, so
Uh-huh.
I didn't
Yeah.
know like NABJ, like they would pay for it. This when I was working
Mhm.
at Johns Hopkins, and
Mhm.
the next year they sent me, but I had just
Right.
started, so I didn't know all the like
I
benefits.
know, yeah, and it is expensive, but yeah, I just I was hustling. I went there,
Mhm.
just networking. Like that's the number one. I always push networking. So I went
Mhm.
there, met my news director, told him, "Hey, look, I'm a Maryland girl. I know Hagerstown is right. It's still in Maryland, and it's not too far from where I am. My goal is not to go far because a lot of people, as you know, in this industry, to start off, you sometimes have to go far out in some remote area for your first market because
Yep.
those markets, of course, are forgiving. Those are learning markets. That's what you do. That's how you make your way back to the top 10 markets. And
Mhm.
at that point in my life, I felt like I was way too established. I had my whole network here in DC because I'm born and raised here in the DMV. And I had, being that I'm a starving journalist, if you want to call it, I had my family and my support system here. And so for that reason, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go anywhere else. So my goal was to be as close to home as possible. And it worked out. I had to, there were times, or not times, for a whole, I'd say 2, 3 years, I drove an hour and some change every morning.
Oh, wow.
Hmm. So that was my hustle. That was the struggle. But I did it because I knew it would get me where I really want to be.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's commendable to be able to do that. And you was just being a multimedia journalist, so
Hmm.
you had to also work and drive around, not
Hmm.
only drive to work but also drive and chase the stories, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Yep. That is exactly what happened. It was challenging, especially being a little older than most of my peers, but it taught me a lot.
Mhm.
And there were some days I questioned, is this for me? Do I want to really do this? And but then there are other days on the flip side, you do something and you just feel so good that you were able to share somebody's story or make somewhat of a difference in your community. And the good thing about that was Hagerstown wasn't too far from home. So for a long part of my time there, I was sharing stories in my community. You know,
Mhm.
I was sharing stories in my backyard, you know? So it was a really, I feel fortunate that I was able to do that because that's very rare. You don't start off your career being able to work in your hometown, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah, and how long did you stay there again?
um, I'd say 4 years.
4 years. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
And then the company went through a big transition, and then uh, we had part of the team move to DC, and then whole new station now. So,
Now, and you was doing the drive
oh
the
yeah,
whole time. You never moved out there?
no, mm-mm, no,
Wow, how in the world did you do it? Like
I don't know. I think sometimes I would ask myself that, especially during inclement weather,
I
because
was gonna
let
say
me
that.
tell you, one time it took me 3 hours. I kid you not. I didn't even know if I was going to survive.
Mm,
Brian, 3 hours from here, which is
yeah.
Silver Spring, Tacoma Park area, all the way to Hagerstown. And normally an hour, 15 minutes max with no traffic. Yeah, it took 3 whole hours and maybe even longer, just a little longer.
Wow. Like, that's,
In the snow, in the
yeah.
snow. I left that key part out in the snow. I should have led with that.
So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people listening ask, what kind of car was you driving?
Well, at the time, fortunately, I had
Mhm.
the company car. so,
Okay.
so they had like a Ford Explorer, and so I was able to truck my way through. I was sliding though, but
Wow. I was gonna say, well, you was able to truck your way through, but now you say you was sliding.
I
It's no
was.
joke.
There were some parts I was questioning life. I was saying prayers and all types of stuff. I just didn't know because it was at. I don't know if you know 70. You're from what, Baltimore?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
so
how 70
70.
get.
You know how 70 gets.
Mhm.
Yes. Very busy, and all you see is tractor trailers. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what was on the road at the time. Yeah. So,
That's what my dad drives.
oh really?
He's local, so he's home every day, but,
Yeah.
he's anytime I'm traveling somewhere and I call him, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm about to go such such." "Well, you can go here, here, here." I'm like,
Yeah.
"I okay, thank you." But
Right.
he understands, like, it's one of those things, like, even back when I first started, like, driving and getting like, I said, "Hey, I can, drive." "Nah," when we go out of town. "No, no, I got it." But that's what
Yeah.
he loved to do.
Yeah. You know what? Kudos to your dad. He's like the MVP because I don't like driving. I'd rather be driven,
I
but
don't
I have
like driving either. I realized that as I got older. I
to.
like the convenience of having a car to get up and go, but
Hmm.
when it comes to driving, I'm good. Like, if I could
Hmm.
have a driver, that would be perfect.
That would be amazing. I would love it. You know what?
Mhm.
I think I would actually pay just a part of my salary right now if I could get a good driver to take me from point A to point B all the
There
time.
you go.
Oh,
That
life would be grand.
people do not understand, 'cause
Parking
mm,
in our area? No.
yeah.
The traffic alone?
Yes, indeed. My, older sister used to say, "Drive and make you lose your religion."
Oh, yes. You be saying all types of stuff behind the wheel
Uh-huh.
that
But,
I will not repeat, but they will pull you out of your character. I'm telling you. I have a really close friend, my best friend, and
Mhm.
one time she's driving with me, and she goes, Shanika, you are like a different person behind the wheel." And I'm a Gemini, and you know what they say about Geminis. I
Mm.
don't believe the hype though. Not all Geminis are like that. However,
Okay.
behind the wheel, she's like, your other twin, that twin comes out. Yeah.
Oh man.
What up? It's your boy Blue Magic, owner of For Your Wear and one half of the Mixed Tag Show. Now, I know you've seen the announcements from some of your favorite podcasters in wrestling. I've decided to expand my business to become a vendor so that people from the wrestling community have a better way to communicate with some of their favorites. So check out foryourwear.com and see if your favorite podcaster or wrestler has partnered up with me. If not, let them know that they should. Also, if you're looking for a vendor for your merchandise, reach out to me at Blue Magic Grind, spell Hagerstown on Twitter or Instagram, or at For Your Wear, FORURWEAR, on Twitter and on Instagram. Shout out to Brian H. Waters and Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. Their merchandise are already up, and they're one of the first one that's reported, so go support them. All right? Peace.
Speaking of driving, now you report on traffic.
Yeah.
The irony. I swear we didn't set this up.
Right.
But what's that been like? And when you're off, are you really off? Because I'm like, you think about it like it's always in your mind, in different terminology. And do people constantly like rely on you to give them the traffic, like as far as like your inner circle?
Mm-hmm. They do. Kind of like my meteorologist friends, I'm like, hey, is it going to snow tomorrow? Tell me what's going to happen. Should I wear this? Should I, because half the time I don't listen to them while they're on air, but I ask them personally. But yeah, people think that I can just map out their whole journey wherever they're going. And I'm not always at work. There are ways to find out what's happening, but and nowadays you have Waze, you have all types of stuff, Google Maps, whatever.
Right.
But in the mornings, definitely people ask me. So I have this one thing called traffic watchers. And, for my loyal viewers, if they want to know how long it's going to take them before they leave the house, I'll take a picture, put your selfie up there and say, hey, look, here's your traffic watch. This is how long it's going to take you from point A, from like this point. So if you leave right now, this is how long it's going to take you. I can't promise what will happen in 10 minutes because, DMV traffic, you just never know. Things could just happen.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
It's certainly, I've been watching, your clips mainly because we're friends. So you've been doing an incredible job.
Thank you.
What has been like some of your goals that you want to achieve as far as being in media and being a media personality, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah. So I have a goal. I just don't want to be the traffic girl, which I'm known for right now. But as of lately, I've been really expanding, trying to get just more experience. So I just want to be able to say, okay, I know how to do this, a little bit of that. It's good to be good in certain areas, but I think that how do I know I like something unless I don't try it, right? So I started anchoring, started doing more interviews, in studio interviews, things like that. I spend most of my day now in the studio, and that's a total different process now. You show up, you get ready and you do what you do. And then once the show's done, after a 4-hour show, you're pretty much done, and you really have to work to set up the next day, do what you can to prepare for the next day. But, in news, you really can't compare for the next day too much because you don't know what's going to happen. We don't have a crystal ball. So yeah, my day is different. When I was at MMJ, I was always out, and, so my career, I feel like I'm progressing in a different direction, which I like. Okay. And I would just like to try it all, so I know exactly what I want to do in the long run.
Yeah. Now, when we met, we mentioned earlier about you working for the Washington football franchise. Do you see yourself getting back into sports?
No.
Okay.
Sorry to say, because I know that that's what you like. But
no, I don't take offense to it at all.
Yeah, everyone's like, why not sports? Why not sports? So I grew up liking my home teams. That's how my family was. We were loyal to our home teams regardless. So I'm still a Commanders fan. you know, that says a lot. But, you know, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to
Okay.
talk about sports. I like sports. And I just like to know that my team won. And I like the camaraderie and I like the energy and the food and the drinks and all that. But I don't want to talk about it.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I've said like this past year,
Mhm.
since joining the Ringer and being like fully committed to wrestling,
Mhm.
I've looked at sports here and there. I mean, I still watch, right? And I'm a Lakers fan. Like for instance, last night I get an alert. Oh, it's a close game. I said, here they go. They lure me in, and I'm gonna watch the game and get disappointed. But I think when the Ravens didn't win the Super Bowl in 2019, I was
Uh-huh.
like so frustrated, and I was like, I don't like feeling that way.
Yeah.
But I'm still on the Lamar Jackson watch,
Mhm.
But I can understand where you coming from and like not wanting to just talk about it, just to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to spend my whole day watching a certain, like football, basketball, whatever it is. I will watch one game and I'm
Hmm.
good. That's it.
Okay.
I don't have that long attention span. Are you a Ravens fan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Because you did say Lamar. So
Now, I'm also, because of this whole contract situation and what he means to the city,
uh
if Lamar goes, I'm gone. I've made that very clear.
where are you gonna go?
Wherever he goes or back to the Cowboys.
But but you're from here, Baltimore.
Right. But it would be, if he doesn't get the contract, it would be the disrespect
Oh,
that I
I see.
can't
Okay.
tolerate.
Yes.
Because you don't become a unanimous MVP and don't be able to almost write your own ticket.
Right. And you see other quarterbacks being able to do that without anyone questioning, oh, is he good? Is he
Exactly.
good enough? So why are we questioning him? So I get
Eh,
it. I get
Yeah, so it would be that. Like, as a diehard Oriole fan, I've seen him come and go. I've seen Adam Jones
it.
leave. I've seen different players leave, and it's like, oh, okay, it's part of business.
Yeah.
But it's, for me, it would be the way this is handled that would just turn me off.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but now, one of the things I do want to ask you before we get out of here, well, a couple of things, but what does the preparation look like as far as being a traffic reporter, and how is that different than when you were a multimedia journalist and always being in the field?
Okay. So the preparation every day, the daily preparation. So what happens? You wake up at 3, you
Hmm.
make it to work just in enough time so you can get yourself together. You get dressed, do your makeup, hair, everything. So like walking into the building, it's not like I woke up like this, no, I
Yeah.
do not wake up like this. And everyone knows that now. But so yeah, you have your meeting, you talk about what's happening today, what are the hot topics for the day, what's breaking, and then that's when you start listening, watching other media outlets to see, okay, what are they covering? What's going on? What's the top story here? Then I start looking at the incidents, the traffic
Okay.
report to see, what should I talk about? Is it worth talking about? How long has the situation been there? Is it really backing up commuters at 4 o'clock in the morning? So
Mhm.
you have to like assess everything. Is it on a major roadway? If it's a smaller roadway, is it worth talking about again? So it just all depends. So yeah, I go through that and I pretty much produce every segment. So I'll build the graphics. I'll get the information, of course, first, build the graphics, make sure it's set up to air. And
Mhm.
then I just talk about them, when my hit comes. And, usually every show, as you know, traffic and weather, you're leading with the leading top stories, traffic and weather. And
Absolutely.
so that's how my day is. And so after traffic, so I do traffic like every 10 minutes. And
Mhm.
sometimes I'm working on other stories. There are other times that I fill in anchor and do traffic from the desk because I'm doing 2 jobs. And then, yeah, after that, meetings, planning, home, sleep, do it all over again. And so, like I will go home and just like knock out. I would have to eat first, of course. Then
Right.
I just go to sleep. So I'll sleep for about 3 hours, then wake up and then go back to sleep.
Wow. Now,
Mhm.
see, and I love that you talked about also producing
Mhm.
because, you're very hands on. Now, how long, I would say, what's the most challenging part as far as being a producer and the talent?
Mm.
And what's the rewarding part?
Okay, so the most challenging part of that is being able to keep up with what's happening. So let me give you an example. We had a weather event today. You, I don't know if it was snowing where you are, but it was snowing a little bit.
Mhm.
So any type of snow, anytime the roadways are slick, there's gonna be a crash in the DMV. Promise you that.
Mhm.
So when things are happening constantly, and I'm doing my hits are coming every 10 minutes, and that comes quick, in a 4-hour show. So I say the challenging part is getting all that information in real time because your
Yeah.
hits are coming so fast, and you want to make sure you let people know what's happening before they leave. You want them to be able to plan their routes. Sometimes your navigation doesn't tell you everything that happens, and then you roll up on it and you're like, whoa, come on. So that's why I'm here. And I think that the most rewarding part is being able to help you start your day. So the morning show is supposed to wake you up, make you feel excited about your day, also warn you of whatever's happening. So the crashes, the crime that's going on, anything, things that you can look forward to. And also, while kind of giving you some fun stories too, joking a little bit to keep you going. So I think that's rewarding, the whole thing, is just
Mhm.
being a part of someone's day.
That's amazing. Just sitting back, like listening to you describe everything, you know, I don't think a lot of people really couldn't appreciate everything that goes into traffic reporting. People it's one of those things you take for granted. When you're a child, you turn
Yeah.
on the news, you see it on TV, you waiting because you don't want to go to school that day,
Yeah.
and you're just trying to find an excuse not to
Uh-huh.
go. Or you see all the graphics and stuff. Like, okay, they look cool, but you're like, I didn't realize you did all of that.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So like now that I want to ask you the question
Mhm.
when you look back over your career, and obviously you still, you got big goals, big aspirations, but right now, what would you say would be your breaking through the glass moment? The moment when you realize, one, it was all worth taking a break and, everything's paying off, but also the moment you realize, like, I'm good at this. I'm living in my purpose. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Everything happened for a reason.
Mhm. I think, huh, there might have been two. So there was a time I actually wanted to be in your market. I wanted to go to Baltimore,
You still
and
got time. Come on.
well, you know how the contracts go. So you
Yeah,
got to wait
that's
a little bit.
that's
Yeah.
true.
So I wanted to be able to um see what else is out there. I didn't
Mhm.
want to just I was how you just don't want to get content and complacent and just, oh, I'm comfortable here. No, so I was looking for other opportunities. And then so I was at MMJ at the time, but I said, you know what, let me see what's out there. I'm not going to be scared. I'm not going to go too far, but I'm going to go to, it's just down the street, but I'll still go to Baltimore. And
Yeah.
I was going to work in Baltimore. And then I got another opportunity. And they asked me, okay, how about traffic? You want to
Mhm.
try that? I see that you're getting bored here. And do you really want to report? Do you mind doing traffic and some reporting? So I said, all right, I'll try it. But I got to wake up that early. I'm not a morning person at all. I'm just not.
Right.
Like, I like to sleep. I sleep until 10, 11 on the weekends.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, I just need my sleep.
I don't blame you.
So, uh, yeah, that was my breaking point was when I tried it. I didn't know that I would succeed because I was afraid that I don't even think I'd make it to work. And I did.
How
Yeah.
long it took you to get used to the schedule?
Oh my God. I still tell people it's been 4 years and I'm not used to it. My body still will
Oh, man.
but it's all routine. And when I wake up, I just pop up and,
Mhm.
get myself together. And it's just like, all right, it's another day. And I got to wake up for 5 days, but on the weekends, that's my time. So everyone knows, don't call me early on Saturday or Sunday. So yeah,
I
breaking through.
commend you. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. No, I was just gonna say breaking through that glass ceiling. That was
Mhm.
one of the times, and another time was when we were making the transition to DC, and you know the management team, they were saying, we want you there. We think that you're great at what you do. We want you to continue to do what you're doing. And it really showed that I felt supported and appreciated. And I also felt like, all right, you know what, me staying here in my hometown actually paid off.
Yeah.
Knowing the roadways, oh yeah, that definitely, that's half the battle. So
Mhm.
yeah.
No, I think that's cool. I was to say one of the things, like I know I did that shift for about 8, 9 months when I was at ESPN,
Yeah.
and this was actually the year before we met. I was up there and I was working on Mike and Mike in the morning, and their
Mhm.
show was from 6 to 10, and we would get to work at 3:30. But I was just producing, so I could look any kind of way, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. But I commend you because you got to be on, and like you
Yeah.
said, you got to get made up. Uh, and you mentioned like your weekends. Do you on Fridays like take a quick nap so that you'll be up longer and can go out Friday and
Yeah.
Saturday night?
Definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So if I have something to do,
Mhm.
I will have to take a nap if I want to actually do that, because otherwise I'm tired by 8 o'clock, so I will go home, take a nap, and then go out.
Yeah. And you mentioned NABJ. What would you say as far as the organization? How would you say that's helped you out?
I think having a sense of belonging,
Mhm.
you know, having something to look forward to every year, knowing that you can go network and being a part of a community, knowing that you're not alone. I think that was one of the main things, other than the parties and having fun and the food and drinks and all that other stuff.
Facts.
But the networking and just, yeah, just knowing that you're not this journalist all alone. And because I'm a Black woman, in other, even not even in just the art industry, in other industries, we have problems, like
Mhm.
they always say, the Black woman, bottom of the food chain. So I think that having things like, events and networking parties and NABJ as a whole, being a part of that helps. It helps us. It helps all of us, actually, women, men, everyone. And I think that I'm I wouldn't do it any differently. I would always be a part of NABJ, even if I had to start over. I would.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, Shennekia, I definitely appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule to come on and share your story with the audience. Let the people know where they can find you and find your work.
All right. Well, first off, thanks, Brian. We've always been cool, and I've always loved your hustle.
Thank you. I
Like
appreciate that.
sports, you got it on lock. Wrestling, all of that. So I've seen you grow too. I've followed your journey.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, so people can reach me, Shennekia, and it's spelled a little differently. So it's Shennekia. So you can find me, Shennekia, on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. If you go on TikTok, I'm not using TikTok, but I have TikTok.
Oh, you ain't doing no weather stuff on TikTok yet?
Oh no, no. I
Well,
should though, but yeah, I'm learning TikTok.
yeah, it's different. It's a different platform, but
Mhm.
it's fun, and sometimes just scrolling through it is enough.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just overwhelming. There's already, like, Instagram, you got pictures and videos. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's TikTok. It's like, oh my God, I can't do so much. I have to work. I have to sleep.
Remember when we was in college, there was Vine.
Oh yeah, I remember Vine, but Vine didn't last too long. What happened to Vine?
Instagram came out with video.
So Vine is Instagram.
No, so basically, because Vine, what made it fun was it was 6-second videos, right? So you
Yes.
had to do it in 6 seconds. Then
Yes.
Instagram said, "Oh, we'll come out with videos and give you 15
Mhm.
seconds,"
Ah,
and then they eventually just outlasted them.
okay. All right. Because you know how those social media platforms end up just forming into another one. So I thought
Yep.
maybe that was the same owner, but yeah.
Well, Shennekia, thank you for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all follow her and support her. And remember, do not let anyone set up a ceiling that you can't break through. So long, everybody.
Love that.
Thank you for listening to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You can support this podcast by going on foryourwear.com. Go to personalities and see Brian H. Waters. There you can get Breaking Through Glass Ceilings t-shirt or a hoodie, as well as a No Ceilings Above Success t-shirt. Go to foryourwear.com. Make sure you also check out some of the other podcasters and professional wrestlers as well.